Every single barber needs their tools in order to complete a beautiful haircut. What are the best tools though? Well, let's go over the best barber kit in 2025. Starting with our clippers. Wahl are my partners. I decided to go with them because if you've seen my other barber kit videos in 2024, 2023, 2022, I always included Wahl, and I finally reached the point where I could finally work with them, and then they dropped this beautiful clipper right here. So I was like, okay, this right here is definitely something different. This right here is the more revolutionized type of senior magic clip, all that put together. I would say this right here is something unique. So that's the reason I chose the Wahl Vapor. Now, when it comes to the Wahl Vapor, yes, it's beautiful, but that's not the reason I love it. The reason I love it is because of its blade. It's a DLC coated blade, meaning that it's gonna stay cool for a longer period of time whenever you're fading. Of course, when we're beginners or even throughout the advanced years, we're always gonna be just fading, trying to just detail or maybe even staying as long as possible through that haircut in order to perfect it. That's when that DLC blade actually comes into play because we could stay cutting longer and efficiently. Now, not just that, but it's also rust resistant, and they also come zero gap straight out of the box, so you can remove that baseline like nothing. If you know what a baseline is, a lot of people struggle taking it out. These Wahl Vapors are the perfect clipper to take that out without using a trimmer or anything else. So that's the reason I like this specific clipper, especially the grip on this limited edition Vapor is extremely grippy. It's all rubber, all of it is completely rubber. So I really think this is the go for me. This is my main clipper as of right now. And then I do double up on everything, making sure that whenever this runs out of battery, I go ahead and grab this one. And then I'll alternate and make sure I never actually run out of battery. Hey, so really quick, I just want to let you know the sponsor of this video is MBU. My own barber course just released, and I am proud to say that it is the best barber course ever released, available to those who are serious about the barber game. So if you really want to level up your haircuts, your online presence, like how to market and brand yourself as a barber, as well as how to earn more behind that chair, visit MartyBlendz or you can click this little link up here. All right, let's get on with the rest of the video. If you have any other suggestions for clippers, comment down below. What do you use? So let's go on with our trimmers now. Now, as for trimmers, I love, and I seriously love the Wahl high vises. Yes, you could say, oh Marty, everything, all of your clippers are Wahl, all of your trimmers are Wahl, all of your shavers are Wahl. Well, when it comes to having a company that's been in the game for 100 years, they are gonna be kind of the best. This right here is one of the best trimmers in 2025. Now here, I wanna press this on you. You also have to double up on trimmers. You're gonna have to double up on trimmers as a beginner or even an advanced barber. Especially if you're an advanced barber and you have more clients coming in, you're gonna need more tools. The reason is, if they lose battery again, or if one of them is very zero gap, like our trimmers, we like to zero gap, meaning the blades are gonna be closer together and they become a little bit sharper. Bam, we want one that's not and one that is. So zero gapping and doubling up on your trimmers is gonna be something that you're gonna need in order to be as efficient as possible. Now what you'll see here is two trimmers that are identical. They're exactly the same, but this down here has a deep tooth. Now you want something with a non-deep tooth and a deep tooth because you will be debulking with that trimmer a lot. I can't promise you'll find this specific trimmer because it is a limited edition and there was only 50 created as of right now. But if you guys push it and you really want it, then hey, it might release. Now whatever version you end up getting, whether it's this one or this one, it does not matter. As long as you get a high vis, the motor inside actually speeds up whenever it has, you know, a little bit of trouble knocking off a lot of bulk. So if there's a lot of thick hair, it has a little tiny chip that will automatically read the hair, and if it's struggling, bam, it speeds up automatically and will cut whatever it's in its way. So yes, when it comes to my favorite trimmer as of right now, and you guys know it's the only thing I use, it's the only thing I use on my reels, it's the only thing I use for my tutorials, this is what stands out in 2025. Now, if there's something else in the market that stands out, I will let you know, but as of right now in 2025, I know the high vis is at the top of the pinnacle. All right, so we talked about our clipper, our trimmer. Next up, in order to complete a full haircut and have a nice little gradient, you're gonna need a shaver. Now this right here is our Wahl Vanish, but trust me, it's exactly what it's named after. It vanishes hair like nothing. I don't know why, but when I got my first one, I was like, okay, is this one just overpowered for no reason? But then I got about, you know, a lot more than these. And then I started figuring out every single one of them were just like not overpowered. They were just right, to the point where every single one of these shavers would shred off the stubble like nothing. And I was like, all right, well then no wonder they got this name right here. But now if I'm being real with you, the other thing that I have to say about this shaver right here is it has like little curves, just like a clipper and trimmer. Boom. I don't think I've ever seen a shaver have little ridges like this, but it's actually pretty good in hand. Now you would think that this looks like a normal shaver, but look at the back. there's ridges in here that make you kind of flick out whenever you reach that baseline. So you're reaching that baseline and you just flick out, and you create a nice gradient when it comes to just getting up to the fade or fading up. This right here is a beautiful addition to any barber kit. I feel like it's the best right now. I know it's the best, and that's why I'm putting it into this video. Now mark my words, whenever you want something to last, you go with quality products. Someone that's been producing stuff for the longest time in the industry. Now that's the reason I like going with Walsa. If you want a product that lasts more than 10 years, I'm not kidding, you go with someone that's trusted. Now I'm gonna put that off to the side. Remember, a clipper, trimmer, and shaver is a must, but you also need a blow dryer. I like either having a Dyson or this Vanquish wall blow dryer, but remember, whenever you pick up a blow dryer, it has to have 3 things. Number 1 is the heat settings. You have to have 3 levels of heat settings, at least a cold and hot, but if there's one in the middle, making it a little bit warmer, then that's perfect. Now, if there's a cooling button, even better, but make sure that one detail is always included. Now, the other thing with blow dryers is you really have to pay attention to the airflow speed settings. When it comes to that, you really have to look at how much of the speed is gonna go out, how much air is gonna go out. That way, you have a low setting, a medium setting, and then a very high speed. That alone is going to control how much volume you give the hair. Especially with straight hair, you really want to watch out. All right, and the last minor little detail that you're going to need with every single blow dryer is not just your blow dryer, is your tips. This right here is a way you're gonna disperse the air into the hair. There's different ways, there's different styles, of course, so you're gonna need different tips. Of course, you need a blow dryer that comes with something around these lines right here. This is a flat tip, a flat head. This is a little bit wider than the wider flat head right here. And then the next thing you'll need is a diffuser. This right here, I always just slap on whenever I have a nice amount of curls. I just slap it onto my blow dryer and then I start diffusing, and the curls actually get enhanced by it. If you have straight hair trying to just wave it up a little bit, this also is the key feature when it comes to just having a blow dryer. This alone will get you a long way, especially when it comes to styling. So don't forget, you're gonna need a blow dryer, especially with the tips that it comes with. Well, that a lot of them come with. But if you really want a secure blow dryer, I'd either go with a Dyson or a Vanquish. All right, so let's head on to something else that a lot of barbers really don't like touching up on. Shears. You're gonna need a regular shear. This is a Misutani shear. Now, it doesn't have to be Misutani, but what I really urge you to do is get something within your budget. It could be a $10 shear, it could be a $200 shear, it could be a $700 shear. You don't have to go with anything out of your budget, because these right here, Misutanis or maybe even Hanzos, could be very expensive at times, especially when you're just starting. For the more advanced people, yes, I'd suggest something like this. For the beginner, I suggest something more on Amazon, something that you're able to get. That way you get the movements right. That way you get to learn how to use a tool more than anything. Now, not only are you gonna need a regular shear, but you're gonna need this type of shear right here. If you've already guessed it, yes, this is a blending shear or a thinning shear or any other shear, texturizing shear, some people even call it. But this right here is basically a shear with different types of gaps, different teeth. That way you're able to cut through and not cut as much hair whenever you clip some off. The reason you'd want something like this is to blend the hair and make it flush with all the rest of the hair. So texturizing shear, blending shear, you're gonna need, as well as a regular shear. Keep that in mind, write that down on your list, and let's keep on going to the next item. Next, we're gonna need a razor. Now, these aren't just any razors. I like my razors to be high quality. Of course, whenever you pay for quality, you're gonna pay a little bit higher, but if you wanted to, you don't have to get something like this. This is about like $70 to sometimes even $100 for special colors when it comes to Irving razors. You'll see that the way you open these up is a little bit different than your usual razor, and that's because it's kind of magnetic. It fits different types of blades in. That's why it's a little bit longer than your typical blade, than the modern blades, because you could fit any type of different razor in there, as well as having this screw mechanism. Whenever you screw on a blade, it's definitely secure in there and it won't go anywhere. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to buy these good, nice quality razors. You could just get any razor from Amazon and you'll be fine. A $10 one, a $5 one, if you have one laying around, hey, so be it. Use whatever is in your hands and whatever you're capable of using. At the end of the day, a haircut is a haircut, and the lineup with some of these is the same thing. You're gonna get the same outcome. It's just a durability and the longevity of the product that's gonna last you a very long time. That's why you're paying a little bit more. But anyways, let's keep going. All right, now the following thing you're gonna need is brushes. 2 different types of brushes, actually. So the first type is the cleaning brush. This is a wall cleaning brush that comes with your shaver. Pretty sure it comes with a bunch of other things, but This right here is a cleaning brush. You could get any type of brush, but make sure you have one in specific to clean out all the gunk and all that stuff out of your clippers and trimmers, as well as your shavers. Now next is your fade brush. You're gonna need a fade brush in order to achieve those nice fades. Reason being is if the client is a bit sweaty sometimes, or hair happens to just fall over some other hair that's still in the way of you fading, and it's gonna kind of make an illusion that the hair is still there, so you're gonna cut within, and yeah, that hair wasn't actually on the scalp. So these right here you want to have on your opposite hand whenever you're fading. Boom, brush off, and then keep fading. Reason you want barber brushes is not just to clean your tools, it's also to clean the canvas throughout your hair cutting. Now another accessory I always have in hand, on my opposite hand whenever I'm cutting, is a comb. Now the one comb I suggest is these Cricut combs right here. They're very high quality. You are gonna pay a premium price for a single comb, maybe about like $5 to $6, but they are worth it. And again, whenever it comes to the best, you want to buy the best, that way it lasts you a very long time. These right here are they're not gonna melt throughout the cleaning process with Ship Shape or Barbicide or anything like that. They're also gonna stay cleaner for longer periods of time because of the tooth size. If you're cutting darker hair and thicker, then you want something on the lighter area. So a lighter comb is best for dark hair. You'll see that a lot of these combs are light. This is exactly what we're gonna need because most of us have, you know, dark hair. Now I wouldn't say focus particularly on the color of a comb, but if you have a lighter one, it'll, you know, you could clip over comb a little bit better. Now speaking of clip over comb, you're gonna need a fade comb. When it comes to a fade comb, make sure it's just flat and you're able to use it with ease. That way you run your clipper through and it's just as smooth as possible. So make sure you pick up a fade comb if you are still in the process of finding your barber kit. Guys, they're not that expensive. This right here is $1.99. It is a babeless fade comb, but Wall themselves include their own, as well as other companies, they include, you know, several in the box. So just keep that in mind. Fade combs are actually very popular whenever you have fading machines. Whenever you have professional machines, you're gonna get one no matter what. So that is a very good addition, not only to your steps whenever you're fading, but it's a very good addition to your barber kit. Of course, whenever we're fading, we have to, it's a must. We have to have guards. Now, preferably, I say you need something from a half guard, a 1, and then a 1.5. Now, these are MB guards, by the way, but you would need a half, a 1, and a 1.5. Anything above that, then you could clip over comb. So does it make these a necessity? Yes. The 2, the 3, the 5. Now, does it mean that the higher numbers are useless? No. At times when you want to cut with ease and you want to cut faster, guards are going to be the move. Especially if you're there clip over combing all day, you don't really want to play the guessing game all the time. Now, these right here are MB premium guards, and I suggest you actually pick some up, try them out for yourself, because honestly, they are really nice, and you could hear more of the cutting when you slap on something like this because it is a nice hard plastics. Aside from that, a lot of clipper companies already include some guards. I'm not too sure about the half and the 1.5, but a lot of them do nowadays. So 2025, just make sure that your clipper that you get comes with guards. Or if you want to get something like this or a little bit more colorful, more vibrant, that way you're able to see it from the corner of your eye, MartyBlendz.com is your answer. We've got cape. Now these right here are my capes, of course. You guys already know I rock these in every single video, but hey, it doesn't have to be an MB cape. I'm just showing you my version of a cape. I made sure mine was perfect because I didn't want anything else other than my cape to be the best quality cape that I could possibly get and buy. So my own capes have a nice stretchy feel to the neck. That way you're able to fit it on kids as well as all types of neck sizes. Boom, look at that. We could open that up. We could fit whatever type of neck size, and then you'll also get a nice stitched logo right there. Now this right here, I could stand by my own product. This right here is one of the best capes I've ever felt. So if you wanted to shop an MB cape, go ahead and, you know, again, go to MartyBlendz.com or whatever. But if you didn't, guys, you could use a towel if you really wanted to. Don't go out and spend a crazy ton of money on a cape. It's just a cape at the end of the day. Now, aside from cape, you're also gonna need, bam, neck strips. Now when it comes to your neck strips, you have to have at least a pack of 60 around because you never know how many clients are gonna sit on your chair, especially after watching all the tutorials on this channel and stuff like that. You're gonna be like, all right, now these right here in specific are Sanic neck strips, a single pack of 60, and you're gonna go through these like nothing. Sometimes you even go like through 3 within one client because of several reasons, but these right here come in a pack of 10, 12, sometimes even a wider amount, but just know that you're gonna need neck strips. All right, next little tool you're gonna need for your barber kit is this right here. This is a neck duster, a Denman neck duster, which is one of my favorites because it fits perfectly on my left hand. Now when I'm cutting, this is the way I have it. I have my clipper on this side, I'll turn it on, I'll be fading, And then just dust off and you're ready to go. You're on to the next step and next step and next step after that, and then you're efficiently going through mowing through haircuts like nothing because of a neck duster. Now when it comes to my opposite hand, I think most of the time I have a neck duster. I could have a brush or a comb, but most of the time it's gonna be a neck duster. And the Den Man right here, which I'm gonna link down below, as well as every single product you see on today's list or on today's best barber kit of 2025 will be linked down below. But this right here, Den Man duster, is one of my favorites, and it's been a favorite throughout the entire decade I've been cutting. Okay, I'm pretty sure you've seen these before. Now, if I were to take them out the package real quick, you'll see that, boom, we have some hair clips. These right here are gonna be amazing if you wanna split the top. That way you're able to cut in piece and not have all that hair up top dangling onto your fade or whatever you're trying to do on the side. These will help a lot whenever you're dyeing hair, whenever you're doing anything and you have a section that's probably gonna bother you where you're working. So boom. Now these in specific are croc clips. There are such thing as alligator clips, which are a little bit flatter. And then there are some stainless steel clips that will grab all the smaller amounts of hair really tight and nice. But remember, croc clips are always best if you have lengthier tops. Croc clips, or any type of clips. Okay, spray bottles. Now, as simple as it looks, there's two different types of spray bottles. There is a continuous spray bottle that will continually spray like that if you just press it a couple times. Now, if you pull the trigger on this one, you'll only find that it sprays out and mists whenever you tap it. So, continuous or the traditional, you decide, but what I suggest is whatever works best for you. Now, this is all up to you. You pick your poison, like you pick the one that you want to use, but I'd say the traditional is better for myself. I suggest the traditional, but the continuous spray bottles are very, very popular. And hey, the most beautiful thing about these is they're not even expensive. I think like $5 for something like this, and then about like $2 for something like this. You can find something for $1 at your nearest Walmart, Target, or your nearest corner store. Spray bottles are super popular. You could find them anywhere. So just make sure you have a spray bottle. Don't make it complicated, okay? So now let's go on to the next couple things you're gonna need. So let's just say you're almost done with your haircut, but you haven't styled. Of course, you're gonna need products. So you're gonna need a whole bunch of different things. Number one is pomade. Now you could go with a water-based pomade. This right here is Statement's pomade. It is water-based. The difference is if you want that greaser type of look, that really wet style that won't come off, you're gonna need something like this right here. Now I don't know how to spell this. Is Rosie or something like that, but this right here I've found that is the best oil pomade. Oil-based pomade is the best whenever it comes to that greaser type of wet look. Now you'll get the same thing with the Statement water-based pomade. It's just easier to wash off. So again, if you want more of the classier type of look and more classier type of pomade, then yes, this right here. And then if you want more of the water-based, you'll have Statements right there. Now the next thing you're gonna need is matte paste. Paste I like to use when someone has a medium type of texture and they wanna achieve that messy type of look, or even more of a straighter type of blow-dried look. I either pre-style or I use this as a topping for the entire haircut. And then you also want dry clay. Clay is basically something that's gonna harden up straight hair, something that's a little bit on the thinner side. So whenever you have clay, you want to have everything come together and really clump up. Alone, it's just gonna look like a mop is hanging over someone's eyes. You'll see that I have super straight hair and I actually use clay to really put everything together and mold my hair together and again, create my style. All right, and last but not least, you're gonna need some type of volumizing powder. It doesn't have to be this slick gorilla version right here. This is what I've been using for the longest time ever, but if you really wanted something that holds up and you really wanna have that poof, that magic poof when it comes to volumizing hair, if you wanna execute Edgars, if you wanna execute nice crop tops, if you wanna execute just a messy look, I'd say volumizing powder is the best type to achieve those styles, those messy styles. So all of these you will need, as well as gel. I'm not too sure if a lot of people use gel nowadays, but if you wanted to have that in your little arsenal or in your barber kit, hey, why not? The more, the better. I almost forgot, but something else I almost forgot to mention is hairspray. Now you could go with either or. You could go with a Got To Be hairspray right here, or Big Sexy Hair hairspray. The price difference is quite dramatic. $5, $20. I think I've seen these at like dollar stores and stuff like this. This right here is a little bit more professional, but just choose whatever is best for you. Now I have found that this right here over time gets a little flaky. If you put it on multiple times throughout the day, if you're just doing this all day, then yes, it's gonna get flaky. This on the other hand won't. Now you pick whatever route you wanna go with, but you will need hairspray if you want it. Now, if you have something more on the cheaper side, it's okay. Hairspray is hairspray. It's gonna basically hold up, but then it will get flaky over time. It won't hold as much and stuff. I like the hard sprays, the ones that either volumize or really get into that hair. Now, the one hairspray that every single barber likes going with is the traditional got2b. It's just very, very sticky. It's pretty much like glue on the hair, and I like as well. So boom, hairspray you're gonna need. All right, after the entire haircut, you really wanna close someone's pores. Whenever you use a shaver or even a razor, you open up a pore because you went deep into that skin, to that pore, right? So that means there's an open wound. You wanna close up that open wound with aftershave. This right here is my favorite Clubman aftershave because it just smells amazing. It just smells like an old vintage barbershop, and that's what I like. Now, you could go with a bunch of different ones, but my personal favorites are these, and you're gonna need them in order to close up, again, those pores. But something else that is gonna make you feel a little bit more secure and making sure that it really gets into the open pores, then you're gonna need something like a balm. This is a skin balm, and it'll really just get into those pores, making sure it all kind of closes up and heals. So aftershave, they will burn. Trust me, these will burn. So if you like clients that like the burning sensation after a haircut, that right there is gonna achieve that. This burns less alcohol inside, but it will close up and heal the pore perfectly. All right, now next up, I have something that'll shock you. You're probably not expecting this, but I have my favorite cologne. Now, you could get whatever type of cologne that you desire. You could get a very expensive one. You could get a very popular one. What I suggest is you get a very popular one. The reason being is whenever you spray this after a haircut onto your client, it's a sign of more professionalism, and again, you're putting in that extra effort. But not just that, why would you want to do this? Why does Marty say do this? Because when you spray this onto someone and they smell this scent some other time, they're gonna think of you and they're probably gonna want a haircut. Okay, so if you wanted to do this, that's cool. It is a more expensive way, but it will turn around and give you more clients as well as returning clients. So yeah, pretty nice little hack you could do there for your barber kit. We're still not done. We're gonna go on to the cleaning supplies because guys, sanitization is key and we don't wanna forget, okay? Now, if you're a barber that cuts a little bit of the wavier or coily type of hair, then you're gonna need a sponge like this. Super cheap, and you're able to achieve those nice curly coiled type of curls that you see everywhere and that look very defined. Ooh, okay, now enhancements. You'll see that this is some type of like black baby powder inside of this little jar right here with a pump. We pump this into the hair in order for us to enhance the look of that darkness of the hair. Now, of course, depending on someone's hair color, you're gonna need to get that type of enhancement to match that color. Most of us have dark brown or black hair, so they sell these in a variety of different colors, but this is the most popular. All right, so we went over our main tools, our accessories. Now let's not forget about the sanitization because it really matters whenever it comes to keeping everything clean and being able to be as efficient as possible. And by that, I mean, if you want to be as efficient as possible and sanitize all the time, you're gonna need something like Cool Care. Cool Care is something that you're gonna spray onto your clipper or your clipper blades, and number one, disinfect, number two, lubricate, as well as keep it cool. This is also a spray for not only your clipper, but your trimmer and your shaver. Anything that comes in contact with that scalp, you wanna spray down, that way you head on to the next one as sanitized as possible. Now, if you have a very busy schedule when it comes to barbering, you're gonna need Ship Shape. This right here is a powder type of form or disinfectant that goes into maybe like a shoebox or something that's gonna fit all your combs and brushes and all the plastics that you use to have direct contact on people's skin. This right here is gonna deep clean and disinfect everything when it comes to just everything that goes on to people's scalps and everything that you use on the daily. I'd say bi-weekly or monthly when it comes to Ship Shape. You wanna toss this into something, a plastic container, and then toss all your tools in there, mix it all together, and maybe even just put it in there for like about 15 minutes or so. Finally, in order to sanitize everything, this right here. Gloves are a must. You have to have them for all your sanitization little procedures, as well as if you want to cut with them. Now, if you feel like some clients aren't that clean, you also want to put these on, or if you're dyeing hair or something, it's just always good to have gloves. Also, if an emergency happens to break down, you cut someone with a razor or something, then here is the first step. And then last but not least, clipper oil. Every other day you want to oil clippers, that way the friction of them doesn't waste the entire blade. So usually you want to have them as lubricated as possible throughout every other day, that way you don't lose the sharpness and they could last you for as long as possible. Now if you're serious, it's all up to you to get to the next level. That's been it for me. I'm MartyBlendz and I'm out. Peace.